Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Post-market report, Tuesday, March 19, 2024. I shouldn't be smiling, but I am because of all of you. I sit here and read the chat, and just you guys and girls are fantastic. Look, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I want to elaborate a little further on what's happening here with the banking system. You already know why this is going on. We're going to shed a little more light on this. Before we even get to that, I want to talk about this market. Okay. Nothing seems to be getting in the way. It's incredible. The S&P 500 today, yet again, another record high. Imagine my shock. Actually, it is kind of shocking because in the face of every single thing, including, I would say a relatively significant sell-off here in the debt market, although it's stable. I mean, the 10-year yield, was sitting here at 4.3. The market, it's like, okay, it's readjusting. The dollar today did put on, I would say, also a relatively significant gain. And despite that, the market still went higher. We still got a new record high for the S&P 500. Crude oil getting bid higher is a big one here, people. Look, what's happening? You know the mechanism. Crude oil is the lifeblood of the system. It's the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex. That's one of the major reasons why, first of all, we are in the Middle East. Why is the United States have a massive, before the war started here, massive presence in the Middle East? We are protecting that oil. We must protect that oil. The United States is mandated to protect the oil of OPEC nations. That's how the dollar remains the world reserve. Period. The end. And what's happening here is not what it seems to be. You all know that. And the more targets that we're hitting over there, and we are, crude oil is going to go higher. Okay. As the dollar also, you look, central banks are in a race to the bottom. I've been telling you this for 10 years. They want to see which of them can possibly suck the purchasing power out of their currency faster. Period. That's the real reason we're seeing inflation. It's astonishing how many people have no idea. When people see prices rising, they think that this chapstick just became more valuable. This is more valuable than it was last month or the 1 month before that, because maybe it's really rare and really scarce. No, it's the purchasing power of the currency which is being systematically and deliberately removed. Okay. And this is not going to stop in the face of what's happening here. Surging debts, deficits out of control, as you and I have called repeatedly over and over and over and over and over. What happened? It's not going to stop. It's not. And look, again, we are caught in a situation here. And you know this because I've been saying this over and over again. The faster the global economy craters, we've never seen anything like this. If you look at global debt and what the economy is doing as a percentage of each other, we have never been here, not even close during the Great Depression or anything else. This is a whole new ballgame here, and it's not going to stop. The faster the economy craters, the higher the markets are going to go. You know that because we have covered it here over and over and over and over and over and over again. I'll answer your questions at the end with regard to all this stuff. Right, Jeffrey? Thank you. Anyway, so save your questions kind of towards the end because I get all kinds of distracted here. Anyway, speaking about, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but where did I put it? Here, I'm going to pull this out of the garbage. This is another warning that we got from Morgan Stanley regarding the dollar here. What would happen in a hypothetical situation if the dollar loses its reserve status? And I can't tell you how that would change the lives of everyone that lives here in the United States. So be very careful what you wish for. The United States has been able to export inflation to the rest of the world on an unbelievable scale for many decades. If in fact this would happen, and it's going to, in my view, but not without millions of people dying first, of course, and the Federal Reserve, their enforcement on being the United States military, including its nuclear arsenal, will be pointed at any enemy that they want. If they feel, let's say, The BRICS are a threat here. They will, of course, incite a war, which they're doing already. They're already setting the groundwork, calling them the anti-American axis. You see how this is being set up? But anyway, so my take on this. The United States has two main export products: propaganda. I don't know which one is bigger. Either we're exporting inflation or propaganda. I don't know which one is bigger. They're probably pretty close here. And the world's frankly sick of it. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing now. And a lot of people are going to say, well, it's the mismanagement of the dollar. No, the Federal Reserve, what they've done, this is, again, not a comedy of errors. There's what the environment is deliberate. And the fact that we have this mechanism to keep, inflating, because that's the Federal Reserve's power. Every central bank's power resides in its ability to inflate one thing. It's not, again, just a mistake. This is deliberate, what we're seeing here. And we have all of our politicians playing right into it right now, even those running for president right now. They're not going to tell you the truth. They will not point their fingers at the true enemy here. We cannot be free. We cannot be free if we have to live under the rulership of a central bank, period. Once you all get the hang of that, you're all going to be a lot better off here. So anyway, with the new record high for the S&P 500, 10-year yield, okay, it's pretty ugly here. Risk in this market, according to the Mannarino market risk indicator, again, free to everyone who wants to use it, link below. We're still in a high risk zone, but the market's eating it up. The market's eating it up because, again, there's a push and pull game going on right now. And you already know what's going to happen here. Okay, there's a lot of confusion, as it's meant to be, of what the Fed is or is not going to do. And I'm telling you yet again, and you can believe me if you want or not, just like I told you what happened to a family member of mine. They didn't believe me. Oh, Greg, you're wrong. My bank's not going to go under. Well, guess what? It did. And now they do not have access to cash until July. We're going to talk more about banks because hundreds are going to fail. All right, hundreds. So just hold that thought for a moment here. But anyway, what was I saying here, man? You see how freaking twisted I get here with this entire thing? But look, if you consider what we talk about every day and you look back on the calls that we make, they're not right 100% of the time. That's a fact. But by far, the vast majority of the time, we are right. And again, that's what I meant to say is the push and pull game here is what the Fed may or may not do. The Fed is on a fixed path. I've told you this already. They're going to cut rates. They have to cut rates. It will allow them yet another avenue to inflate on a grand scale. War is not enough. Although war generates more cash for the military-industrial complex and the corporations than any other endeavor on this earth, okay, that's a fact. It's not enough because the debt must expand exponentially. It can't even go up in a nice, smooth way. It has to rocket ship higher just to sustain the current environment, just to sustain where we are. You understand? It can't remain static. If we were to just pull the same amount of cash that we did, let's say last year, we would go back into a Mad Max scenario in a very, very rapidly, which we're going to get to. And this is all set up as well. It is not a comedy of errors. Here's another piece of information that maybe you heard today. I forgot where this was, but 56%, and I believe this number is probably a lot larger than that. 56% of American citizens cannot come up with $1,000 in an emergency. 1,000. That's kind of crazy, if you ask me. Anyway, look, let's cut to the chase here. A couple of things that I want to bring to your attention. Number one, if you're wondering, and we talked about this at the end of last year, if you recall, those of you that have been with me, some of you have been with me a very long time. We made some forecasts at the end of last year, one of which was that we would see waves and waves of layoffs. Well, this is obviously happening. Now, if you do subscribe to my free newsletter, link in the description of this video, you're going to find a list. Obviously, I just took a snapshot of this and printed it up. But there's a list. This is not a complete list, but it's a long list of companies that have already made announcements, and there's more every day, that layoffs are coming. So again, check this list and see if the company you may work for, you may not know it, but you're probably already on the hit list. So go check it out. I made this. I don't do this for my own health, people. Okay. I really don't. I do this because I think it's important. I do it because I think you need to know what's going on. Information is important. I mean, I can't even underscore that enough, how important information is. That's why, I mean, armies employ spies. Information is really key. So again, this is in your inbox. Check it out. Please share this stuff. Let people know what's happening. Now let's talk about banks. Let's talk about these institutions. Now I'm just going to say it again, and I know you might not want to hear it, but again, we've been way ahead of the curve on this, further than anybody else. That's the truth. How we nailed this one to the wall before anything happened, before there was even the slightest rumble, the slightest crack in the system. You and I said, hold on a minute here. The economy is in free fall. People can't save anything. No deposits, no loans, and no deals. This can't work out well. Then what happened, we started to see the smaller regional banks fall under pressure. Now, this is being kicked down the road or hidden from people for quite a long time, but this is going to start to rear its ugly head. Now, today, after the video I did this morning, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of questions. Greg, what about this bank? What about that bank? What about this bank? What about that bank? I cannot sit here and go through each of these banks individually, but I'm going to give all of you an idea, and I want you to do what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now that you can expect hundreds, maybe even 1,000 smaller and regional banks to go under. They're going to go under again because the system is being consolidated. Power is being pushed up to the mega institutions. What's going to end up happening, these institutions are going to fail. The mega banks, the mega institutions are going to buy their assets for pennies on the dollar. That's what's being set up because, again, a new system, a completely new system is going to be rolled out, one of maximum control. All right. Again, they got to incite mass, almost hysteria here. And that's what they're looking to do. They want to incite violence. All right. I've been telling you before, the whole bloodbath thing that some of you people believe was only about the auto industry. That's going to be a bloodbath, but the rest is going to be great. No, you got to look for the signs here. The fact is, this is going to be a bloodbath, and they want a bloodbath in a violent sense too. Not only is this an economic bloodbath, okay, we're already in it. We're already in an economic bloodbath, but this is what they are hoping to achieve here is mass social unrest, so they can exert or extort our freedoms and liberties right out from under us. They're trying to give some factions of people enough rope to hang themselves, and they're going to hang all of us along with it. Okay. What we need here is a quiet revolution. It's really the truth. I've been telling you for the longest time, we need a revolt. We need a revolution, but we have to be smart about it. Okay. What they want is to incite violence. And I believe there's an extremely high chance that this is going to occur at the presidential selection because a lot of people are being set up for a great fall. Anger, frustration, and frank disbelief is going to occur. Now, let's go back to the banks again. This is something I want to read something to you. This is right off from the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation's website. Okay, right here. Now, you and I have already talked about it, but I want you to think about it more. This institution here, okay, knows for a fact which institutions are already failing and which ones are going to fail. Meanwhile, this is what they say. Okay. FDIC problem bank list is a confidential list. It's a confidential list. This is privileged information that only a select few are allowed to know. So if you, for example, have X amount of dollars in one of these institutions, you're not allowed to know. I find that disgusting. I find that absolutely revolting. Why would you want to keep your cash in one of these institutions if you know it's at risk? Okay. You got to look. If we have to play their game, and we are forced to play their game. Okay? Things like, cryptocurrencies didn't really work. You understand? These have become more like investments than currency. You understand? Soon we're going to get a central bank cross-border trans world, and I don't mean like trans world, mode of currency here. Okay, that's what they're going to do. A way to transaction that is kind of universal, that will be based on a actual cryptocurrency. There's no competition here. I know there's a lot of people say, I know there's a lot of YouTubers talking about, well, you know what, Greg, you must be wrong because you see, the Federal Reserve is not going to allow Bitcoin to survive as there's no competition. In fact, they're not even the same asset class. They may have the same name, which is unfortunately true, as a cryptocurrency, but it's just not the same thing. One is more or less an investable kind of a thing, at least in my perspective here. People don't transact that, and I don't. I own it. I rarely have transacted in this stuff here. But the one that central banks are going to issue is going to be one that people are going to use to transact. And again, if you look at the entire market capitalization of every single cryptocurrency and pack it all together in a nice little ball here, it equals about the size of one Dow component. I mean, and it's so sparsely held anyway, kind of like gold and silver, man. It's a shame. It's a shame that people do not transact in these things. It's a shame that we're told so many lies at so many levels. Gold and silver is not real money. It's not real money. Of course it is. When you hear that kind of talk from a politician or a central banker or someone like Jamie Dimon, who's made it almost a mission of his to talk about how much he, the CEO of the largest bank on earth by assets, despises Bitcoin. You know how much Bitcoin Jamie Dimon probably owns? More than every single one of us put together. I can promise you that. But he's got to tell you how bad it is, because you see, he needs you to transact in the dollar, just as our politicians do for the most. Sure, it's okay. A lot of them say you should hold gold. Hold gold. It's a good thing, but don't transact in it. Make sure you transact in Federal Reserve notes. Can't make it up. Anyway, so with regard to the failed bank list here, you can't find it anywhere, but that does not mean that you can't get some information. We talked about how important information is. Okay, now I'm going to tell you how to get this information. Okay, if you're one of those people who have been writing to me, Greg, what about this institution? What about that one? Okay, this is what you need to do. You need to do a little bit. You got to be slick about this. Okay, you got to do a little bit of work. Let's say, for example, you have your cash in a regional bank, a small institution, and maybe you're worried that it may be on this invisible list, that this privileged list, this confidential list. It's confidential, okay? It's privileged information. You can't know, I can't know. That's disgusting, isn't it? Okay, well, forget about it. There is nothing that can stop you from speaking to the bank manager. Now, the bank manager is a long shot out here. Okay, you can call your bank. I would do this in person. It's a lot easier for someone to put you off over the phone. Okay, you need to show up at your institution. All right, you got to do a little schmoozing here, and don't be angry. Just say, listen, I'd like to talk to the bank manager. Why? It's a concern that I might have here. I don't want to discuss it with anyone else here. They might send you a flunky or two. I would really try to speak to the bank manager and express your concerns. More than likely, the bank manager, they're slick to this, okay? And they're not going to tell you anything. And that alone should tell you something. If they came out and said, hey, look, our bank is really strong here. There's no chance that this is going to happen. That person might be legally held liable. Record it. Put your phone in your pocket, set it on record the conversation. Okay, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You can do these kinds of things. The other thing, a lot of you, okay, have people that you deal with at your banks, okay, for the most part. Maybe one person, a particular teller that you might like. You probably will have a better chance of getting information, inside info from that person than from an upper management or the bank manager. Okay, you can try that, and I urge you to do it. But maybe the right thing to do first would be to try a connection that you already have, okay, with someone at your institution. Hey, have you heard anything? How's this bank doing? You might get some information that could be very useful to you. You understand? Personally, look, I've been telling people to get their cash out of these institutions for a very, very long time. Um, and as I said, some people need to learn the hard way, even members of my own family, unfortunately. I think that, I'm not even going to go there. James, thank you. I appreciate that. Is gonna be Yeah, absolutely. You can look at this kind of stuff. Absolutely. I happen to, I've been telling everybody about credit unions. Credit unions operate differently than the commercial banks do. They don't take the risk. These are for the most part nonprofit. So, you know, again, don't twist my words around here because people do it all the time. I'm not saying that these are 100% safe. I am saying these are safer. You understand? So, pretty much that's where we're at. So I hope, look, you got something out of this. Does this bother you? This FDIC thing? This kind of stuff literally makes my blood pressure boil. I can feel my blood boil, honestly. But but what would you expect? What else would you expect here? You think in this kind of an environment? See, like I said, not only nothing matters. Nothing. We are dog excrement. Okay, we are a means to an end. We don't matter, but we should matter. This is supposed to be a government. People are supposed to be able to self-govern themselves here. That's what this was all about. That we're not supposed to live under the rulership of a king or a queen. We're supposed to be govern ourselves. But again, when we've been so dumbed down that we don't know which bathrooms that we can use or we're supposed to use anymore, what would you expect? This is, it's complete. The indoctrination, the dumbing down. It's insane. Absolutely freaking insane. Anyway, people, look, I hope you got something out of this. And do think about the things that I talk about with you. All right. Go to your institution. Get some information here. Information is always key to everything. Okay. And there's no reason why you can't ask questions. You understand? And if you start to feel a pushback, look, I always say this. We have a God-given intellect, all of us, right? You're talking to members at your bank. You're talking to someone of authority at your bank, and you're starting to feel a little bit of a push. That should tell you something. Okay. So open your mind, be pleasant, be nice. Okay. Don't get bent out of shape. Well, I keep my cash in here and you people need to tell me what's going on. They're not going to tell you nothing. And then you do that, they're going to shut up. But just go with your gut on this. When you go there and you talk to the people at your institution, just walk in there. Dress nice too. The way you look has a lot to do with how people will treat you. You go walking into an institution, I don't care if you have $10 million in the bank in cash, and you go in there looking like a slob, you're going to get treated a certain way there. You know what I'm trying to say? Look sharp. Be sharp. You're educated enough. If you follow this blog, you could work circles around these people about how the economy works and the system works. Believe me, they're all idiots. But treat them like they're not. Treat them with respect, and you'll get respect back. You understand? And you may get the answers you're looking for. Does that make sense to you? It should. Anyway, people, look, that's pretty much where we're at. I will cover, this is getting really long here. So let's just do a couple of questions here before we get out of here. No, Billy Liberty. Do not go there in pajamas. Someone asked me about Bitcoin earlier. Okay. It's a wild ride here. Cryptocurrencies are volatile. You know that. Record high 77, 78. We've come back down. That's just normal. It's normal. Could this fall a lot further? It absolutely could. Would that mean it's going to zero? No freaking way this is going to zero. And anyone that is telling you that, believe what I'm telling you. It's someone that does not understand what's happening. They don't understand the system. And it's a lot of people. People will conjure up all kinds of things. Either to protect themselves, to protect their own belief system, whatever it might be. Look, I'm a pretty simple guy in existing in a complex system here, right? Clever custom performance. Thank you. I try to be open-minded about things. Okay. I know for a fact that I have a lot to learn from everybody. Okay. If you believe that you're the smartest person around, that you have nothing to learn from the people around you, I can guarantee you that you're the most stupid, most ignorant person in the room. You have to walk in there and realize that everybody that you come in contact with every single day has the potential to change your life, to benefit you in some way, and you in theirs as well. You got to be willing to listen to people and hear their side of an argument. Now, a lot of people are going to throw things out. Well, this is garbage for this reason. This is garbage for that reason. Okay, but lay your case, all right? Because I may have a counter argument, and maybe we could come to some kind of an agreement as to where this really stands. In anything in life, any freaking thing, right, Doug? Absolutely. You get it, people. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm sorry about the ass, people. I really am, honestly. But I guess that's just life. Anyway, Bitcoin could easily do that. Someone said yes, Bitcoin over 100 grand. You know, it's possible. Let me just say this too. Look, when it comes to Bitcoin, I don't like telling people my beliefs as to where this is going to go, and I won't do it. Okay, but I can tell you what I've said repeatedly over and over again. Eventually, we are going to get a meltdown in this debt market that is going to spin people's heads around like The Exorcist. I mean, they're not even going to know what's hit them. This is all being set up by design. This is not a comedy of errors. Okay. Now, with that, the stock market will also take a hit on a scale again. People aren't going to believe. Cash is just going to move from one reality into another reality. And in my view, it's going to go into commodities. The value of these is going to skyrocket beyond anyone's dreams. I really believe that too. Commodities in aggregate, cryptocurrencies as well. Artwork, musical instruments, those that hold their value, like the pair that I got back here, classic cars, stuff like that, collectible stuff. Cash is just going to go into these things. It's going to look for somewhere to go. It does not fly away to money heaven. XRP, another one, absolutely. So that's where we're going with this thing with people. You know, like I say, I'm a simple guy. I really, really am. And I just try to, the most easiest explanation is one that's generally the simplest. And how I cover these things for you is I try to break it down to a very easily understandable way. This whole thing isn't very complicated. It's just understanding the movement of money, understanding, again, the environment we are in here is like nothing we've ever seen on any scale before. But you and I know who our enemy is, and we know what they want, and that gives us so much power. It's just absolutely out of control. All right, people, look, this guy here, I am so out of here. Love all of you from the heart. I mean this with all I got. I want to hear from you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for those thumbs up. We did pretty well today, 635 so far. 27 minutes into this video. I wish we could double that. I really do. I mean, we got 1,700 people here. The more thumbs up, the algorithms pick it up, people see the video. And that's where you come in. Share this stuff. Talk about these things. You're educated enough that you can carry on a conversation with anybody. If you have followed this blog for more than 6 months, I don't think there's a person out here who you can't stand toe-to-toe with and explain things the way they are. They might not like to hear it. Oh, no, no, no. You may turn into, public enemy number one. You want to make an enemy? You want to make an enemy? Tell them the truth. That's how you make an enemy, unfortunately. But then that person might ponder. If that person has even a functioning brain cell, they might sit back and say, you know what? That conversation I had with so-and-so stuck in my brain. Makes sense to me. Maybe I should do my own research about it. And then they do. And then they come around. You have no idea how many people over the years were Greg Mannarino haters that have turned around to be my closest people that are with me every day. It's a fact. They finally turn around. Yes, truth will get you banned. You got to be careful what you say. Lava knows that. Anyone with a YouTube blog must be very selective, unfortunately. But all of you know my how I operate, Anyway, look, real long video. I'm going to get out of here, people. Joe gets it. Everyone gets it. Thank you all for being here. Love you all from the heart. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll see you in the morning.